Zen-Tale's Bruno Dreams of Ice Cream is based on the classic philosophical tale of the man who sought enlightenment and saw a dead donkey. At the end of each Zen-Tale's book is the original philosophical tale as well as a moral.
So, Zen-Tales is written by Peter Whitfield and illustrated by Nancy Bevington. Right. This Zen-Tales book is called Bruno Dreams of Ice Cream. I love ice cream. All right. It was a stifling day and the sun was beating down on Bruno Beagle. He sighed as he dragged his water pot from the river back to the teacher's house. As Bruno trudged up the hill, he saw Furball licking a delicious-looking ice cream. "Hello, Furball," Bruno called, licking his lips. "That ice cream looks delicious." "Well, you can't have any," Furball said, meanly pulling the ice cream towards her. "There's only enough for me." Bruno continued lumbering up the hill, dragging the water pot and dreaming of cool, delicious ice cream. Bruno sloshed the water down as soon as he entered the house. "Please, St. Bernard, I'm sweltering. I need an ice cream." St. Bernard shook his massive shaggy head. "No, Bruno, you may not have an ice cream," said St. Bernard. "You are always asking for things." Bruno was annoyed. How could he not ask for an ice cream on a day like this? He really, really wanted an ice cream. Bruno flopped down in the corner and thought about chocolate ice cream with banana topping, and his eyes glazed over. St. Bernard came up to him. "Are you still thinking about ice cream?" he asked. Bruno nodded sadly. "Well, I think you should go outside," said St. Bernard. Bruno sighed, got up, and plodded back out into the hot day. Outside, he saw Furball finishing her cone under the big elm tree, looking very pleased with herself, her mouth covered in sticky ice cream. To make matters worse, Bruno spotted Grizzle and Monkey walking over to the river, both enjoying their own delicious-looking ice creams. Bruno shook his head and rubbed his eyes in disbelief. Everywhere he looked, someone had an ice cream except him. In the distance, Bruno saw his friend, Pierre Potamus, holding an ice cream. "Pierre will share his ice cream," Bruno muttered to himself, and hurried over to his friend. But when he got there, Pierre's hands were empty. "Where is your ice cream?" Bruno asked, staring at Pierre's empty hands. "Oh," replied Pierre, "I thought it was so hot that my little ant friends might like some." Pierre pointed to the ground where his ice cream lay in the grass covered in ants. Bruno couldn't believe his eyes. Even ants got to have ice cream today. It wasn't fair. "Do you want to go for a swim?" Pierre asked Bruno. Bruno shook his head. "No, I want an ice cream." "Come on, Bruno, it will cool you down," Pierre encouraged. Bruno reluctantly agreed, and off they wandered to the riverbank. As Bruno and Pierre walked towards the river, a book came whizzing past their heads and landed with a thud behind them. "That looks like one of Gilbert's books," Bruno cried. Bruno and Pierre raced to the riverbank where Monkey and Grizzle were teasing Gilbert B. Beaver.
"Give me back my book, please,"
Gilbert pleaded, jumping up and down as Monkey and Grizzle dangled another one of his books in the air.
"Maybe next year,"
said Monkey.
"This is too much fun,"
said Grizzle. Better give his books back, said Bruno. What are you going to do about it, little puppy? Grizzle demanded. You know, he is a karate champion, Pierre said breathlessly as he finally caught up to them. I think you should do as he says, he said, nodding knowingly. Monkey scowled at Pierre. You don't scare us, he declared, picking up the book and tossing it back to Grizzle. Kip kung pow, kung fu! Suddenly, Monkey and Grizzle were flying up into the air and falling into the water. Bruno picked up the books and handed them to Gilbert.
Thank you so much,
said Gilbert cheerily, dusting himself down. That's all right, replied Bruno as he patted Gilbert on the back. Then he turned to Monkey and Grizzle, who were drenched and looking very miserable in the water. As for you two, stay away from Gilbert and his books, or else I'll do more than just toss you into the water. As Grizzle and Monkey dragged themselves out of the water and sulked off miserably, Saint Bernard appeared by the riverbank.
Oh, Saint Bernard, Gilbert gushed. Did you see what happened? My books would have been ruined if Bruno hadn't helped me.
Saint Bernard, who had watched everything from a nearby hilltop, smiled and nodded wisely. Well done, Bruno. Is there anything you would like right now? Saint Bernard asked. Bruno shook his head. No, I was just helping out a friend. I don't need anything. Excellent, said Saint Bernard, producing 3 ice cream cones. Ice cream! Bruno exclaimed. I totally forgot I wanted one. Saint Bernard smiled as the 3 youngsters enthusiastically enjoyed their treats.
Wow, chocolate with banana topping, Gilbert exclaimed.
My favourite, said Bruno as he tucked into his delicious ice cream. Well, wasn't that a good story? So I guess what we can see is that when we stop thinking about what we want and think about what others want, we get rewarded with treats just like ice cream.